Before moving further, if you've enjoying this video, consider hitting subscribe. We're pushing toward 2,000 subscribers, and every single one makes a difference. Help us reach more football fans and take this community to the next level.
What happens when an NFL quarterback battle stops being decided on the turf and starts getting manipulated behind closed doors? An explosive claim recently surfaced across the football world, alleging that statistical tracking platforms intentionally erased multiple touchdowns from Shedeur Sanders during his preseason debut. When numbers start vanishing from official databases, you are no longer watching an ordinary training camp competition. You are witnessing an all-out narrative war. Cleveland is currently sitting on an absolute powder keg. On one side, you have a $230 million guaranteed veteran fighting to salvage his career. On the other side, you have a lightning rod rookie carrying the weight of a legendary football dynasty and an entire generation of fans demanding a changing of the guard. The tension inside this building has reached a boiling point, and the people pulling the strings behind the scenes are realizing that every single snap is being monitored by millions of eyes. Before we dive into the receipts, drop a single word in the comments right now. Type truth if you believe there is an active agenda against Shedeur, or type CAP if you think this is purely a technical glitch. Let us see who really understands how the modern league operates.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
The modern landscape of professional football is governed just as much by algorithms, analytical databases, and digital spreadsheets as it is by the physical plays executed on Sunday afternoons. Front offices invest millions into proprietary grading systems. Media networks build multi-hour television blocks around efficiency metrics, and fan bases weaponize advanced tracking data to validate their opinions. That is precisely why the entire sports world came to a screeching halt when a detailed breakdown began circulating across digital platforms, bringing forward evidence that statistical trackers had completely omitted two of Shedeur Sanders' scoring drives from his preseason charting. Two entire sequences of execution, poise, and red zone production allegedly vanished into thin air, treated as though they never occurred on a professional football field. To understand why this sparked such an intense firestorm, you have to realize the power that these data hubs hold over player evaluation. In today's league, a rookie does not just fight against the opposing defense. He fights against the prevailing narrative constructed by national grading outlets. When an analytical tracker compiles preseason data, scouts, media members, and casual observers look at those aggregated summaries to judge whether a young quarterback belongs in the league. If a tracker miscounts snaps, fails to log scoring plays, or reduces a passer's efficiency grade through clerical omission, it fundamentally alters how that player is perceived by the broader football ecosystem. Reports and discussions online immediately caught fire because Cleveland represents the single most scrutinized quarterback room in North America. When an error of that magnitude happens to an obscure third stringer in a small media market, it might be chalked up to a minor human oversight by a low-level data entry technician. But when it happens to Shedeur Sanders, a player whose every throw, step, and press conference quote is analyzed by millions of dedicated viewers, the narrative shifts immediately from accidental oversight to potential sabotage. Observers began questioning the methodology, the motives, and the operational integrity of the platforms responsible for documenting these snaps. Fans began pulling the raw broadcast film, cross-referencing every single play Shedeur took under center, and juxtaposing it against the publicly available database logs. The discrepancies were clear enough to ignite widespread outrage. Football enthusiasts pointed out that young passers rely heavily on early momentum to build trust with their coaching staff and earn valuable reps with the primary starting unit. When analytical metrics fail to accurately represent what took place between the white lines, It creates an artificial gap between reality and perception. The underlying reality of this controversy extends far deeper than a simple statistical dispute. It highlights the unprecedented level of skepticism surrounding how this specific quarterback competition is being presented to the public. There is a tangible segment of the audience that genuinely believes certain legacy media entities and analytical platforms carry an implicit bias against the Sanders family, aiming to downplay Shedeur's immediate readiness to protect traditional evaluation models. Conversely, another faction argues that the hyperscrutiny surrounding Shedeur simply magnifies everyday operational mistakes that occur across all 32 franchises during the chaotic month of August. Regardless of whether this data wipe was an honest technological glitch or something far more coordinated, it established a profound precedent for the remainder of the preseason. Every charting sheet, completion percentage update, and adjusted net yards per pass calculation attached to this roster is now being audited by thousands of independent creators and vigilant supporters. The margin for error among national analysts has shrunk to zero because the audience is actively checking the work.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
This spreadsheet controversy proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that standard coverage rules do not apply in Cleveland. The digital battleground is fully active, and every single snap is treated like critical evidence in an ongoing trial. When you challenge an ordinary rookie quarterback, you usually deal with a standard public relations statement, a polite brush-off from a team representative, or complete silence as the player focuses entirely on the playbook. But when you challenge Shedeur Sanders, you are challenging an entire modern media empire built on transparency, loyalty, and fierce self-preservation. The moment the statistical irregularities gained traction online, Deion Sanders Jr., known globally as Bucky, stepped directly into the spotlight to send an unmistakable message to the football establishment. Bucky did not mince words or hide behind coded corporate language. Taking to his massive digital platforms, he openly declared that people were playing with his brother's name and hard-earned production. That single reaction instantly shifted the entire dynamic of the conversation. In professional sports, the dynamic fundamentally changes when family members with massive independent reach decide to bypass traditional gatekeepers and confront the narrative head-on. It eliminated any chance for the statistical tracker controversy to quietly fade away into the standard 24-hour news cycle. To fully understand the weight of Bucky's involvement, you have to examine how the Sanders family operates. Through their own independent production machinery, they have spent years documenting their journey from the Southwestern Athletic Conference to the peaks of major college football, accumulating millions of devoted followers who trust their word over traditional mainstream broadcasts. Bucky serves as the vanguard of that cultural fortress. When he flags an injustice, it does not just stay confined to niche football forums. It mobilizes an entire movement of supporters who demand immediate accountability from analysts, networks, and tracking databases. This family defense mechanism introduces a psychological element that very few NFL front offices have ever experienced. Historically, franchises hold absolute control over the messaging surrounding their players. If an organization wants to manage expectations, manipulate depth chart perception, or control public pressure, they rely on friendly insiders and local beat writers. With Shedeur, that conventional strategy is completely ineffective. Any attempt to diminish his accomplishments, distort his statistics, or hide his progression behind misleading narratives is met with instant, highly produced public pushback from his own bloodline. There is an undeniable power in having an advocate who operates entirely outside the jurisdiction of league fines, corporate sponsors, and team reprimands. Bucky is not an employee of the team, nor is he bound by standard locker room decorum. His sole objective is protecting his brother's legacy and ensuring that his production is cataloged with complete accuracy. That level of vocal support provides Shedeur with a unique psychological shield. It allows the young quarterback to remain entirely detached from the toxic online discourse, preserving his mental energy for film study and physical execution, knowing full well that his family will vigorously defend his interests in the court of public opinion. This dynamic naturally creates friction among traditional football purists, who often argue that external noise and family involvement can create unwanted distractions inside a professional locker room. Critics claim that having an outside camera crew and a vocal brother commenting on team dynamics could complicate the delicate balance of an NFL roster. Yet, younger generations and modern athletes view it as the ultimate blueprint for athlete empowerment. Why should a young talent sit quietly while his production is minimized when he has the digital infrastructure to set the record straight in real time? The viral reaction engineered by Bucky served as a direct warning shot to every analytical platform, content creator, and television analyst covering this roster. It established clear boundaries. If you publish inaccurate data, leave touchdowns off the ledger, or frame the competition through an unfair lens, you will be publicly held accountable in front of millions. That protective layer has transformed the Cleveland quarterback battle from a standard athletic duel into a high-stakes cultural chess match, where every move is met with an equal and opposite reaction. The true litmus test of any quarterback controversy never takes place on social media feeds or morning debate shows. It occurs beneath the harsh lights of an NFL stadium against live defensive schemes. When the team traveled to Chicago for their preseason opener against the Bears, the entire football world tuned in with a singular objective: to see whether Shedeur Sanders could translate his collegiate brilliance into professional efficiency. Despite receiving a remarkably limited workload of just 3 offensive series, the rookie provided more than enough film to radically shift the conversation. Looking strictly at the surface-level box score can often be a completely misleading exercise in preseason football. The final score showed a lopsided 34-10 defeat, a result that traditional observers might point to as an overall offensive failure. Veteran Deshaun Watson logged an efficient statistical line on paper, completing 11 of 15 attempts for 126 yards. Shedeur, working with backup offensive linemen and secondary receiving targets, finished his brief outing completing 6 of 11 passes for 79 yards, accompanied by an interception. But for those who study the nuance of quarterback mechanics, the tape told an entirely different story. During his 3 drives, Shedeur displayed the specific pocket traits that cannot be easily taught or manufactured. He operated behind an unstable offensive line, facing immediate interior pressure, yet consistently kept his eyes locked downfield rather than dropping his gaze to the rush. His internal clock, which was heavily scrutinized during his transition from the college game, appeared remarkably crisp. He moved subtly within the pocket, climbed into open throwing lanes, and delivered passes with exceptional touch and ball placement, including multiple red zone flashes that directly led to scoring opportunities.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
The interception he threw during the contest quickly became a central talking point for skeptics looking to validate their pre-draft concerns. Yet, closer examination of the coach's film revealed a young passer attempting to make a decisive throw against tight coverage, trusting his arm talent in a situation where the offense desperately needed a spark. In preseason environments, coaches actively want to see young quarterbacks test their boundaries rather than playing timid, check-down football designed merely to preserve a clean passer rating. Shedeur demonstrated a fearless willingness to attack tight windows, a trait that historically separates franchise passers from mere game managers. Even more impressive than his physical performance was his demeanor following the final whistle. In his post-game media interactions, Shedeur did not display a single ounce of frustration, panic, or defensive body language. He spoke calmly about the necessity of building team chemistry, dissecting defensive adjustments drive by drive, and making continuous mental notes to elevate his overall command of the offense. That level of poise under an intense media microscope is exceedingly rare for a rookie navigating his first taste of professional action. Contrast that composure with the overwhelming external pressure surrounding the organization, and you begin to understand why the coaching staff is facing an immense evaluation dilemma. Watson possesses years of NFL starting experience and high-level historical production, but his recent seasons have been marked by inconsistency, injuries, and noticeable hesitation in the pocket. Shedeur, despite having far fewer professional reps, brings an undeniable aura of confidence, decisive decision-making, and pure passing rhythm that injects visible life into the entire offensive unit whenever he steps onto the field. The preseason tape from Chicago served as definitive proof that the game is not too fast for the young rookie. He processed coverages quickly, communicated protections effectively at the line of scrimmage, and demonstrated that his collegiate accuracy translates seamlessly against NFL-caliber athletes. While 3 drives represent a relatively small sample size, they offered a clear blueprint of what this offense could look like with a fearless distributor commanding the huddle, setting the stage for even greater pressure on the coaching staff as the regular season rapidly approaches. Whenever a monumental roster transformation takes place, the perspectives of incoming defensive players often provide the most unvarnished, honest look at what is truly happening behind closed facility doors. The blockbuster trade that brought elite pass rusher Shedeur Sanders to Cleveland fundamentally altered the identity of the team. Having just arrived from the Los Angeles Rams, an organization defined by championship expectations and veteran continuity, Sanders stepped directly into an environment that felt completely different in both age demographic and everyday culture. When Sanders finally broke his silence in a revealing sit-down interview, his words carried extraordinary weight across the entire league. He did not arrive with an agenda, nor did he seek to fuel external drama. Instead, he painted a vivid picture of the culture shock he experienced upon entering his new locker room. He described the initial trade as a sudden emotional whiplash, transitioning from a seasoned, veteran-heavy roster in Southern California to a young, exceptionally loose locker room in the Midwest, stacked with first, second, and third-year athletes who approach the game with vibrant energy. The critical moment of the interview arrived when the conversation inevitably shifted toward the quarterback hierarchy. When asked directly whether he knew who would be starting under center for the season opener, Sanders navigated the question with the political precision of a seasoned veteran. He openly admitted that he had an internal feeling, a clear vibe regarding who the starting quarterback would ultimately be. However, he made it abundantly clear that the final decision was entirely outside his authority, purposefully refusing to publicly crown either Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. That calculated response spoke volumes about the delicate tightrope every player on this roster must walk. Sanders understands the internal politics at play. If a premier defensive addition publicly endorses the rookie, it creates an immediate rift with the highly paid veteran starter and undermines the front office's financial commitments. If he unequivocally backs the veteran, he risks alienating the passionate young core of the locker room that clearly feeds off the dynamic spark provided by Shedeur. By stating that he has a clear vibe while maintaining strict neutrality, Sanders subtly acknowledged the palpable tension that exists within the building. Perhaps the most impactful quote from his entire media appearance was his declaration of absolute confidence in whoever ultimately trotted out with the starting unit. While that might sound like standard public relations rhetoric on the surface, within the context of a divided and scrutinized locker room, it was a necessary declaration of stability. Defensive players simply want a quarterback who protects the football, sustains drives, controls the game clock, and provides the defense with adequate rest between physical possessions. The underlying atmosphere described by Verse highlights a fascinating generational divide taking place inside the organization. The younger defensive players, who grew up watching the Sanders family dominate digital media, naturally gravitate toward Shedeur's magnetic personality, modern brand, and competitive swagger. On the other hand, the established veterans and coaching personnel are acutely aware of the contractual hierarchy and the immense financial investment tied to Watson. This creates a unique dual reality where the locker room energy leans heavily toward the youth movement, while organizational business requirements pull toward the status quo. Verse's calculated remarks demonstrated that the players on this roster are acutely aware of the public circus surrounding them. They understand that every single word they utter into a microphone will be dissected for hidden meanings, allegiances, and locker room factions. By keeping his cards close to his chest, Verse protected team unity while subtly letting the outside world know that the players on the inside already have a very good idea of where this competition is truly heading, even if the general public remains entirely in the dark. To truly comprehend why the starting quarterback decision in Cleveland has become such an agonizing process for leadership, you have to look beyond standard football film analysis and examine the ruthless business of modern sports entertainment.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
A major metropolitan NFL franchise is a massive corporate machine driven by personal seat licenses, season ticket renewals, corporate luxury box agreements, municipal stadium negotiations, and multi-million-dollar retail merchandise revenues. When you factor those corporate elements into the equation, the battle between Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders ceases to be an ordinary athletic competition. It becomes a direct referendum on consumer sentiment and brand preservation. A heated exchange across regional and national sports radio recently pulled back the curtain on these exact backroom dynamics. Respected media figures and organizational insiders began openly discussing the nightmare scenario haunting executive suites, the terrifying prospect of home fans unleashing a chorus of boos during the first half of the regular season opener. Fans spend their hard-earned money to battle traffic, purchase astronomical parking passes, and sit in harsh weather conditions. The front office knows that if the starting quarterback performs poorly or appears disconnected, the home crowd will not hesitate to turn the stadium into a hostile environment within a matter of quarters. This is where the glaring contrast between the two passers becomes impossible to ignore. Deshaun Watson carries a profound historical weight that follows him onto every single field he steps on. Whenever he takes a snap in a nationally televised game, the commentary booth and digital sphere inevitably revisit his past controversies, guaranteed financial structure, and polarizing standing across the sports landscape. The fanbase itself remains deeply fractured over his presence, with a substantial portion of the community struggling to fully embrace him as the long-term face of their beloved franchise. Shedeur Sanders, conversely, represents a completely clean slate wrapped in absolute cultural superstardom. He does not carry any off-field baggage, nor does he divide the stadium along moral or philosophical lines. He brings an immediate surge of youth, excitement, national relevance, and undeniable merchandise appeal. If Shedeur makes a rookie mistake, throws an errant interception, or misreads a blitz package, the home crowd will overwhelmingly respond with patience, encouragement, and vocal support, recognizing it as a natural step in a young player's development. If Watson makes that exact same mistake, the stadium will erupt in fury, viewing it as yet another failure of a historically expensive contractual gamble. This reality puts ownership in an extraordinarily precarious position. On paper, the organization has a staggering $230 million fully guaranteed tied to Watson's contract. From a pure accounting perspective, benching a player with that historic price tag in favor of a rookie passer is an admission of complete organizational failure regarding one of the largest transactions in NFL history. It exposes leadership to intense national criticism and complicates future salary cap maneuverability for seasons to come. Yet, sports history proves that fan sentiment and stadium economics almost always triumph over sunk financial costs. Past organizational behavior shows that this specific front office has previously adjusted starting lineups based on public pressure, ticket demand, and fan revolt fears, even when internal evaluation sheets suggested a different direction. If the local community makes it abundantly clear that they are unwilling to support a stagnant offense under veteran leadership, the pressure on ownership to pivot toward the exciting rookie will become completely insurmountable. The debate surrounding personal seat licenses and stadium atmosphere reveals the true psychological warfare taking place behind closed doors. Front offices can ignore internet comments, dismiss external podcast critiques, and tune out television analysts. But they cannot ignore thousands of empty seats, unsold luxury suites, and a home stadium chanting for the backup quarterback on opening weekend. The financial and emotional stakes could not possibly be higher, turning every single preseason snap into a calculated business assessment that will dictate the future trajectory of the entire franchise. When draft night finally concluded, and Shedeur Sanders saw his name fall significantly further down the board than many draft analysts and fans originally projected, the prevailing national narrative was that he had been somehow victimized or sabotaged by the league's evaluation machine. Pundits openly questioned how a player with his collegiate production, pedigree, and mechanical precision could slide so far, framing his eventual landing spot in Cleveland as a chaotic, high-pressure nightmare designed to derail his professional development before it even began. However, as the dust settled and the true landscape of the league came into sharp focus, an entirely different, counterintuitive perspective emerged. Shedeur Sanders was not wronged by the draft process. He was extraordinarily blessed. Landing with this specific organization at this exact moment in time represents arguably the most advantageous scenario any high-profile rookie quarterback could have ever hoped for across the entire 32-team landscape. To understand why this environment is such a blessing, you have to look at how rookie passers are handled across the rest of the league. If Shedeur had been drafted by almost any other stable, established franchise, he would have walked into a structured locker room with an entrenched veteran starter, a rigid chain of command, and an unyielding organizational mandate to hold a clipboard on the sideline for 2 full seasons without ever sniffing a meaningful first-team rep. His development would have been hidden from public view, his immediate earning potential severely capped, and his opportunity to compete for a starting role completely delayed until the front office decided he was ready. In Cleveland, the exact opposite reality exists. Because of the constant volatility surrounding the depth chart, the immense public pressure on the coaching staff, and the fractured relationship between the fan base and the starting veteran, Shedeur walked directly into an active, open competition from day one. He was instantly handed live preseason reps against starting-caliber defensive units, given real opportunities to command the primary offense, and placed in a position where strong individual play could realistically win him the starting job before week 1 even kicks off. This city is profoundly desperate for a genuine football savior. The community has endured decades of agonizing quarterback turnover, failed draft picks, and heartbreaking near misses. They are not looking for reasons to reject a young, charismatic quarterback. They are actively searching for reasons to fall in love with one. The moment Shedeur demonstrates consistent pocket poise, drives the ball into tight coverage, and shows basic competitive fire, the entire fan base is ready to rally behind him with an intensity that very few sports markets in the world can replicate. Furthermore, Shedeur was psychologically constructed for this exact type of high-stakes, chaotic environment. Having grown up inside the intense, hypervisible fishbowl created by his father, Coach Prime, Shedeur has spent his entire life operating under the brightest imaginable spotlight. The media circus, the constant scrutiny, the viral debates, and the relentless pressure that would mentally break an average rookie are simply normal, everyday conditions for him. He does not fear the noise because he was raised inside of it. When you strip away the surface-level draft day drama and examine the actual football opportunity, the narrative flips completely. Shedeur was not pushed into a career graveyard. He was dropped into a golden situation where he holds all the leverage. If he takes the field and succeeds, he becomes an instant legend in one of the most passionate football cities in the world. If the team struggles, the blame will fall entirely on the coaching staff, front office, and veteran leadership, leaving his reputation completely intact. It is a rare, zero-downside scenario that most young passers would give anything to inherit. Amid all the external noise, the viral family statements, the spreadsheet controversies, and the passionate radio debates, there is one man who holds the ultimate tactical key to this entire puzzle: offensive coordinator Todd Monken. Throughout his coaching career, Monken has established himself as an elite, no-nonsense football mind capable of adapting his offensive philosophy to maximize widely different quarterback archetypes. From pocket passers to dynamic dual-threat weapons, he understands precisely how to structure an offensive system to extract maximum efficiency. Throughout this entire intense training camp period, Monken has executed a masterclass in professional media management by staying completely, immovably tight-lipped. Despite being peppered by local beat reporters and national insiders at every single press conference, he has refused to drop even the slightest hint regarding which passer holds the true upper hand in the building. He answers questions with calculated brevity, emphasizes general offensive fundamentals, and avoids giving the media machine any additional fuel that could destabilize his meeting rooms. This deliberate silence is a highly calculated tactical decision. Monken understands that the longer this quarterback competition remains officially open in the eyes of the public and opposing defensive coordinators, the more structural control he maintains over his own game planning. By forcing upcoming regular season opponents to spend valuable scouting hours preparing for two completely different passing styles, he creates an immediate strategic advantage for his offense. Watson brings veteran pocket manipulation and specific scrambling tendencies, while Shedeur offers quick-release rhythm passing, distinct RPO capabilities, and exceptional touch on boundary throws. However, while Monken plays his cards close to the chest, the external rumor mill has reached a fever pitch. The same independent analysts and internet creators who initially flagged the missing touchdown controversy have recently teased the existence of a massive, unreleased bombshell regarding the internal dynamics of the coaching staff and front office. Speculation has run rampant across online communities, with various theories suggesting everything from internal disagreements over play-calling autonomy to high-level debates regarding when the inevitable transition to the rookie should officially take place. It is vital to separate verified reporting from sensationalized digital speculation in these high-profile situations. In the modern content landscape, creators frequently hint at explosive revelations to maintain viewer retention, drive engagement algorithms, and capture the cultural conversation. Yet, the very fact that these theories gain immediate, widespread traction proves just how fragile the organizational hierarchy currently appears to outside observers. Where there is smoke, Football fans naturally expect an impending fire, especially in an organization with a well-documented history of internal power struggles. What remains undeniably true is that Monken cannot keep this competition in a state of suspended animation forever. The regular season opener is rapidly approaching, and an NFL offense cannot operate effectively with split first-team reps, conflicting protection calls, and uncertain leadership at the line of scrimmage. A definitive choice must be made, and that decision will ultimately define not just the trajectory of this current season, but the long-term professional futures of everyone involved in the offensive coaching room. As the final phase of the preseason unfolds, the pressure inside the building is mounting to unprecedented heights. Monken knows that his opening game plan will be scrutinized by millions of viewers looking to see which quarterback gives the team the highest ceiling. Whether the teased internet bombshells materialize into real-world reporting or dissolve as empty rumors, the actual drama playing out on the practice field and inside the coach's film room is more than enough to keep the entire sporting world completely captivated. We are standing on the precipice of one of the most defining moments in modern football history. What began as a routine training camp has transformed into a high-stakes psychological drama involving manipulated spreadsheets, viral family defenses, locker room culture shifts, and multi-million-dollar front office politics. The Cleveland Browns are no longer just managing a roster. They are navigating an explosive cultural phenomenon that will dictate the franchise's trajectory for the next decade. Whether leadership chooses to protect their historic financial investment in Deshaun Watson or embrace the undeniable momentum, poise, and clean slate of Shedeur Sanders, the fallout will be monumental. When that season opener finally kicks off, every single snap, every read, and every throw will be analyzed under the most intense microscope the sport has ever seen. The time for political maneuvering is over, and the moment of truth has arrived. If you want the raw, unfiltered truth behind the biggest power struggles, tactical breakdowns, and untold stories across the football universe, you cannot afford to miss what happens next. The gridiron never lies, and neither do we. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and lock in with Gridiron Ground, so you never miss a single update as this historic quarterback battle reaches its ultimate boiling point.